Okay, we are live.
Yeah.
We are live. Okay, I am Frank, and this is going to be a new show that me and Sarah are going to do monthly. We're going to introduce a movie to each other, or suggest a movie to each other, and then we watch them, and then we'll discuss them on this program called Have You Seen? Have you seen this?
Have you seen this?
Yes. So just introduce yourself because people might have not seen the Christmas special, so just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Frank. My name is Sarah. Frank and I go way back. We know each other from high school, believe it or not.
Yes.
And we became like friends over the days when Frank would do his show, the Frank Island show, way back in time. And he'd always give me shout outs, and it was so much fun. So we've just stayed in contact all these years. And now I'm as Frank mentioned, I won your Christmas box this year, which was amazing. Yes. I still wear my pajama bottoms every night.
That's great.
And we somehow divulged into a fan fest of Christmas movies, and we're like, we need to talk about movies more. So here we are.
Yeah, that was it, because we were talking about Christmas movies, and I was expecting the usual suspects. I was expecting you to say I like the Santa Claus, I like Elf, I like this, I like that. But you were coming out with these left field picks. I'm I never heard of these. They sound great. I've never seen them before. Oh, there's Luke. Luke is here. He made it. He stayed up.
Hello.
Yes, there's Luke. So for tonight's show, we're going to go, because originally I was thinking we should go with the future, but I think we should go with Lebowski first, because Lebowski has more to talk about, and then The Fugitive has a little bit to talk about. So we'll start with you. You could talk about why you picked the movie, and we'll just start discussing from there. Go ahead.
Okay, so the premise of the show is we were going to recommend movies to each other. But I've actually never seen the Big Lebowski, other than one very important part of the movie, which I was anxiously awaiting all night last night. When is this going to happen? And it's the very last scene where, well, first of all, okay, before we get to that, I'll give an overview. The Big Lebowski is about this guy named Lebowski, the dude who decides, or he has this carpet that really ties the room together, and he gets for this millionaire Lebowski. So these people break into his house, pee on his carpet, and they just then realize it's the wrong Lebowski. And his friend, played by, what's his name? He's a very famous
John Goodman.
John Goodman. Yes, I'm terrible with names.
Walter,
who is oh my God, I have so much to say about his character. But anyway,
Walter Salpjak, who pulled the gun on league play.
Oh my God, he is something. He is hysterical. He's like, you need to get your rug back. It's all about the rug, right? And he goes on this hero's journey of getting in the middle of all these rich people's business, and meeting the rich daughter and the weird German cult people who are trying to kill him, all for this freaking rug, right? So this whole movie, I'm like, well, this is not what I thought it was about, because all I knew of The Big Lebowski was the final scene where poor Donnie, spoiler alert, by the way, poor Donnie dies of a heart attack. Poor Donnie has no idea what's going on this entire movie, which really kept cracking me up. But he dies of a heart attack, and they're spreading his ashes. John Goodman is spreading the ashes, gives this very heartfelt but very generic speech about Donnie. One of my favorite parts of it was, he died the way many of our brother died before us from a heart attack. And they spread it, dramatic spreading into the wind that all comes back onto the dude, just straight in his face. And I'm just sitting there hysterically, just cry laughing at this point, because the reason I knew about that scene was several years ago, after my mom passed away, 4 years ago. I went to spread her ashes in Costa Rica, her favorite place in the world, with her girlfriend. And I shit you not, Frank, we do the whole week. First of all, we did use coffee cups to spread our ashes, because
oh my God, did you?
There'd be no other way to spread my mother's ashes than styrofoam coffee cups, scooped in. Here's one for you. Here's one for you. Here's one for you. Here's one for you. Right? Scoop them in. We're playing the Hawaiian guy, Over the Rainbow,
Over the Rainbow,
very beautiful. It's a sunset, and here we go. Rocio goes dramatically into the wind. Which, by the way, when you decide to spread ashes, if you're spreading them into the water, don't spread them into the wind, because when you do, they fly back into your daughter's face, and she gets a mouth full of ashes. And I I won't be more graphic than that. But that 100% happened to me. So very long story short, the reason we had to watch The Big Lebowski was because I didn't know what the rest of the movie is about other than the Ash Cube, and it was very surprising because it was nothing about life or death.
No,
Kind of
no. I discovered The Big Lebowski years ago. I think it was on Comedy Central, because during the early 2000s they played like a lot of classic you know movies from the 90s, like the late 90s. It was The Big Lebowski, Office Space, and High Fidelity. Those were like the big. Oh, and Nothing to Lose. That's another one that was essential to my growing up and like learning about comedy and stuff. And The Big Lebowski was freaking hilarious, and it's one of those ones like almost every line is like quotable. And the thing I like about it during my most recent rewatch for the show is that I never really truly realized how much of a film noir it is. It is a film noir where it is just, it's about him going on this journey about, solving this case that he has nothing to do with, but the movie keeps dragging him back into it because at the end of every sequence, he goes back to living his life, but the movie pulls him back in. It's like he doesn't want to be a part of the movie. He just wants to, because after he gets his rug back, he is home. And then they take the rug away and then they call him. They try to pull him back. And it's just so funny. Like during this whole movie, it's just wonderful. I love this movie.
Oh my gosh. So many good one-liners, by the way. I'm like, I need to go look up a list, but my absolute favorite was, everything's a fucking travesty with you, man.
Oh my god, yes. I just during this rewatch, it was just like all essential, like just playing back in my head because I was like, way out west, there's a fella I want to talk about, a fella that goes by the name of Jeff Lebowski, and it just goes on and on like that. Sometimes there's a man, and then obviously you're not a golfer. And he's like, well, at least I'm housebroken, and then it just goes on like, these fuckers come and pee on my rug. You go, and he's like drinking water. He has like ice in his mouth. She owes money over there. Pee on my rug. And then like, oh, that's your name, dude. Oh my god, Donnie. I am the walrus. I am the walrus. It's just so funny. Like there's just so many like lines in it, and God, there's like another thing. Like all the character actors in this. I love all the character actors because they're all people that you recognize. Like the landlord in this movie. He was in like a lot of like action movies. Like he was in The Last Boy Scout with Bruce Willis. And then he was in Lethal Weapon 4, I recall, because he's the one who gets hit by the train. And then who else is in this? There's another character. But Philip Seymour Hoffman. He's in this.
Oh, wait. What he was? Did I miss him?
Philip Seymour Hoffman? He's Brent. He's Brent. He's the one who says, dude, don't touch that. And dude keeps touching the thing. Yeah, he's the one who's like, ha, that's marvelous.
I totally missed that. How did I miss that? I got focused on Maude. Maude's been in a whole bunch of stuff.
This one, like when she made this movie, she made like tons of hits. So at around this time, she had made Psycho '98. She had made Boogie Nights, The Lost World, this. And then I think she did Magnolia, like all in this time. I'm like, man, that's like heavy hitters in this time frame when she's in this movie. Yeah. And then Peter Stormare, he's the German guy. He's in this. He plays the nihilist. He believes in nothing. And then Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers, he's in this. And then John Turturro, who's famous from the Transformers movies mostly, and any other Coen brother movies, which is great. Oh, did you know? Because like there's like little things about this. Did you ever see the movie Fargo?
Yes, a couple years ago, but I remember seeing it.
So Fargo is made by these same guys, and that's the reason why Donnie keeps told to shut the fuck up, because in Fargo, that Steve Buscemi does nothing but talk. So for the next movie they made, they wanted to have a character where everyone just tells him to shut up. So that's why he's on this.
Good trivia. Oh my, that was like, I think that was the part of the movie that we couldn't even contain ourselves, Frank and I, when we got on today because we had so much to talk about. But I was telling him, my partner is not a big movie person. Like it's a work of art to get him to watch anything with me. And I had this on last night, and like 15 minutes in, he was laughing like a little boy. It was so adorable. But the part that kept him coming unglued every time was like, "Shut the fuck up, Donnie!" Like every time, like just throughout the whole movie. And there was just something so poetic to me about this character who has no idea what's going. Like from the beginning, like he misses the first conversation.
He has no
Literally,
idea.
like no idea throughout the entire movie, and then because of everything that was going on, ends up dying from a heart attack. I'm like, this is hysterical and dark, really dark, but I love it. I love everything about it. Like, doesn't even know why he died for
No
over
idea.
a stupid rug.
Oh my God, they shot Donnie. No shots were fired. There's having a heart attack. I'd be moving, but I'm pumping blood. You got to go make the phone call. Don't worry, Donnie. We got to help choppering in.
Oh my God.
So hilarious. Oh my God.
And John Goodwin's character, what's his name again? John.
Walter Salpchak, who drew a
Walter.
firearm during league play.
He is, wow, that man, that character is something.
Yeah. What I like about Walter is that even though as insane as he is, I do believe he has a big heart, because there's a funny scene in this movie. I didn't realize how funny it was until this rewatch, is when dude's pounding the board on the floor and he says, yeah, I accept your apology. And he says, no, I made it okay. I made home okay. You're calling me at home. And that just tells me that Walter was probably like calling every 5-10 minutes to make sure dude got home, to make sure that he apologized, because he probably couldn't apologize in person because he'd probably cry because he's very emotional. And then he has to, say that, did you make it home safe? Are you okay? And then it tells him probably it had to do with Nam, because in the middle of the conversation, dude's like, it has nothing to do with that.
Vietnam, nothing.
Because almost every time he brings up Vietnam, dude says it has nothing to do with that. So you don't even hear the conversation, but that's probably what's being said on the other line. I love that. And then he gets so upset with Walter. He says, Walter, leave me the fuck alone. See you at practice.
Yes.
It's so good. Oh my God. I love that.
Oh my gosh.
So what's your favorite moments? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, obviously, like the Ash scene will forever be my favorite movie moment ever. So we'll keep that just to the side. But another scene that really came, oh my God, there's so many good ones. But one that came to mind when you were talking was when Walter and the dude are at the big Lebowski's house, and he's like, he's not really crippled. This guy's not real. Come on, help me get him up. And he like gets him up and just like drops this whole man just starts bawling his eyes out on the ground. And I'm like, that's really fucked up, but that's really funny.
Hilarious.
And I was just thinking about that. And when you were talking about like Walter actually has a big heart, like you could see the remorse in his face of like,
yes,
I misjudged this very much. Like, help me get him back in the chair. And
oh my God.
On a side note too, my other favorite thing about Walter is like, how does he just evade the law enforcement the entire movie? Like pulls a gun at practice, like assaults this crippled man, like all these like beats the shit out of the car. Like how do you? He's unbreakable. He's just like untouchable.
I feel like the whole story is sort of like that, because you think they would have got kicked out of the game, but they didn't. They're still in the playoffs. Even though they pulled the gun and then lied about Shomer Shabbos. He doesn't fucking roll. And then poor Donnie had the heart attack. Oh
I know. So that was a pretty highlight of dark humor for me. But what about you, Frank? What was your favorite?
My favorite? Oh my goodness, there's so many. I'm trying to think. So I don't know if people know this, but I think Jeff Bridges is like one of my all-time favorite actors. Like he's up there. Like I think I like him so much. Like if he passes away, I might have to take the day off. Like he's like in that involved in my life, because I grew up with Tron, King Kong, Blown Away, this, and then like some other ones that are mixture, because he's in like a lot of movies, and he means a lot to me. And this movie is just like another great performance from him. And there's just so many moments with him, because there's that scene where he's in the car. He just got checked out at the doctor, and he's going back to his life. The movie's like out of his rear view mirror. And then he tries to flick his thing out the window, but it's broken. It doesn't go down. It lands on his lap, and he is like the king of yelps in this movie, because he does so many yelps, like or he does so many of those like little whimpering sounds in this movie, and it's just hilarious. He's like and he's trying to pour the beer, and it gets on the side road, and he almost runs into somebody, and then he hits the only thing that's in the road, and it's the garbage
Yes.
thing. And then they find the homework. Oh my god, it's just there's so much great hilarity in this movie. And like he is just such a great character, the dude. Like he is fully formed. He feels real in this world, and he
Yes.
is a bum.
Yes. And he's just like, he's just cool with it. Like he doesn't want to change. He
Nope.
just wants his damn rug that ties the room together. And bowling. And White
Yes.
Russians. Only three things he
Yes.
wants in his life.
That's all he cares about. And it's so funny because I feel like at the end of every scene, I said this before, but it feels like the movie is pulling him back into the plot.
Yes.
Because after he gets the rug, he's good. And then after that, he gets the phone call from the Big Lebowski, and he gets pulled back into it. And he's like, "What do you think? The carpet business did this?" Oh yeah, the fucking A, man. That and a pair of testicles. So fucking good. I love that movie, and it's
Yeah.
just and the F bombs. It's wonderful. There's so many of them.
Oh, they're
John
abundant.
John Goodman is the king of them. This is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps, Larry. This is what happens.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, speaking of which, I think Filler Vision just said that. I do know about the TV dub clip through the censored movie. John Goodman says, "This is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps." That is so. That's what they say in the censored version of TV. This is
Oh,
what
really?
happens, Larry, when you find a stranger in the Alps.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's
So
hysterical.
hilarious. So, are you aware of the other Coen brother movies? Have you seen any of those?
Oh god, this is the part of the show where it's like, have you seen this? And Sarah's like, no.
Well,
Whatever.
you've seen Fargo. You know
Sorry.
Fargo. Barton Fink? No.
No.
Okay, that's okay. I haven't seen either. Miller's Crossing?
No.
No, that's okay. I haven't seen it either. Raising Arizona? No. You should check out Raising Arizona. Okay, I don't know about the other two
We
because I haven't seen them, but Raising
we need
Arizona
to
is
start
hilarious.
we need to start a side list of
A
like
side
Sarah
list.
movies Sarah needs to watch.
Well, I'm just going through the Coen brother list because I love the
Yes.
Coen brothers because they have that weird, great dark humor. Like they did the movie No Country for Old Men, and even as dark as that movie gets, there is some great like dark humor in that. Like to me, Anton Chigurh in that movie is like Michael Myers. He's
Mhm.
unstoppable, but he does some funny crap in that movie, and he has that silly haircut. But I love that like that movie as well because it has similar like dark humor like this movie does, where it's like they cut off the toe and they like it's not fair. And the marmot, oh my god, it's just
The
so
Marmon.
funny. The marmot, remember they drop it in the tub and
Oh my, the ferret. I thought
the
it was
fair.
a ferret.
He
I'm like,
keeps
why?
calling it he keeps calling it marmot in the movie. That's like nice marmot.
Oh, that's yeah. I was like, I had a ferret in college, so I was like, but they're so friendly and cute. There's nothing scary about a ferret. They're just kind of bendy little creatures.
And he's terrified of it when it's in the water.
Yes.
This is so funny.
I love how the ferret just gets out and it's like it has like the little crusted harness and it just like shakes off and he's like, all right, back to fucking shit up.
Oh, there's other things I noticed during this rewatch. I know you have this is like your first time seeing it, but there were just like things that I noticed. So there's a big thing where they in that scene where they're like, we'll cut off your Johnson. And then later on in the movie, on the back of Donnie's jersey, it says Johnson.
Oh, I missed that. I remember I saw the other reference to Johnson when he went to the porn producer's house and he calls his dick a Johnson. I'm like, oh, that's
Yes.
good. Yeah.
Oh my god, that whole scene. I love that scene because it plays on the film noir things where you think someone is writing down important notes. So he
Yep.
goes over there with a pencil and it's just he drew a picture with a guy with an erection. And it's just hilarious. It's like, oh my god, like what the hell is what's his name? Jackie Treehorn. What's up with Jackie Treehorn? And
I love the scenes, the like very trippy scenes in the movie because they're just like out of left
yes.
like and me knowing that at some point somebody dies in this movie, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, is the mouse like is the dude gonna die? Oh my god, please don't kill a dude. And he's like flying through, on the magic carpet. I'm like, oh, this is it. He's dead. This is the scene he goes. And then he like gets drugged at the party. I'm like, this is definitely it. Like these fucked up bowling balls. Like this is where he goes. So every scene, I'm just like, he's gonna die. He's gonna die. And I was like, oh, that's a great twist at the end.
The thing is, because I was doing light research, apparently in film noirs there was always a sequence, or some movies had a sequence where there was a dream sequence where the hero got knocked out and he would go in this weird sequence, and it was similar to this because this movie is the anti film noir plot where normally it's like Humphrey Bogart who's trying to investigate, but this one it's the dude slowly going through this whole thing. And what was the other thing about film noir? Oh god, we were just talking about it because the daughter gets involved. That's sort of like the Big Sleep, because that's the title. The Big Lebowski is a reference to like the Big Sleep or the Long Goodbye, because there's a movie called The Long Goodbye with Elliot Gould where it opens up with him getting cat food, and it's very similar to like the store when he's getting milk, almost like exact shot for shot almost. It's really cool. I like that. And it's all reference to like old film noirs from the 40s and 50s. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, so like the film noirs of the 40s and 50s sort of had to do with like World War II. And this one sort of has to echo the Desert Storm, because they show that with George Bush in the beginning, and how it relates to that. Because usually in the 50s movies, it was about like they found out the truth or whatever, and it's like, oh, it's a bigger truth. But with this one, there is no bigger truth, because it's basically all about for nothing. And that was sort of how it reflects on the Desert Storm War, where it was almost for nothing, the battle. So it kind of echoes on that, even the mention of Vietnam as well in the movie, because so it's all about that with this as well. I was like, oh man, that's wild. I never even knew that, but I was like doing like a light research. I was like, oh, that makes sense, because there's like nothing. Because this movie is like the dude stayed the same. At the end, he's still playing bowling. He's still living his life. It's not up or down, strikes or gutters. He's in the same.
Yeah. So, okay, for us, so Frank, you've studied film. You're like, you are the person that I just love talking about movies with, because I don't have the background in film per se.
Yes.
So for us newbies, could you tell me a little bit more about what is film noir, and like,
film noir is like
I don't know the answer to that question.
I'm everyday man. I am Rich Evans. But like film noir is like a detective story where they get like a phone call, like a PI, Humphrey Bogart, things like that. If you've seen the movie Sin City, that's basically all film noir, where it's a guy who gets caught up in a situation. And this movie very much has all that stuff, where it's instead of a PI, it's dude. He gets drawn into this case dealing with this rich millionaire and the daughter, and then the wife, the hot wife, Bunny Lebowski, and it gets drawn into this thing about ransom. Is there a ransom? Is there not a ransom? Was somebody kidnapped? Did somebody die? And it's all that stuff. And like, there's all these weird, interesting characters that you meet along the way, like
there's
Jesus.
A lot of ins and outs.
A lot of ins and outs, a lot of what have yous. Yeah. They got us working in shifts. Okay, I see a question. From the audience. Franklin, and Sarah, do you wish The Big Lebowski had a sequel, and what would you do with one?
That's a good question.
I was kind of thinking that with this. I think it would be with the dude's son, right?
Yes, that's a great.
I'm trying to help her conceive, man.
What, are you doing yoga?
Increases.
Conception.
Increases. So good. He's like, man, I'm just trying to help her conceive, man. Just leave me and my lady friend alone. The brother Seamus.
Okay, so it's like it's the dude's son, and he doesn't. I bet you, like, he doesn't know the dude's his dad. The dude's probably just like moved on and forgot about him.
The dude went missing.
What?
The dude went missing.
Maybe, but I feel like there's got to be like some like the dude's still the same. He's still drinking White Russian, still in his bowling league. Donnie's not. Maybe they even have like a plaque, like the Donnie bench or something, you know, like to pay homage to him. He's like, and it just says, "Shut the fuck up, Donnie." And then you get the idea, right? And then there's this wealthy kid, and he somehow discovers that the dude is his father.
Yes, and like, I think there would be a statue of the Big Lebowski in the wheelchair with like kids around him.
Yes.
All different mothers.
Yes. What's Bunny doing though? What's Bunny doing in the sequel?
Oh God, a washed up porn star. That could work. I don't know what she'd be doing. It'd probably be like a light cameo, but there's that. The only sad thing is we wouldn't have Philip Seymour Hoffman in this, and we wouldn't have Steve Buscemi, because the Donnie character died, unless he has a twin, and then Philip Seymour Hoffman has passed away, so we wouldn't have him in the movie.
So, but then the dude goes, like, I feel like the reunion would be maybe anticlimactic, but like also give him an identity of self, like, oh, this is why I am the way I am.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, the dude, like and he never fit in with his rich family, his crazy mom. And then you just kind of see them both like drinking White Russians, like in like bowling shoes or something, like laying on a rug. And then
Yes.
he really bonds with Lebowski, with the dude, but then the
Yes.
dude goes missing. And then the
Yes.
story keeps pulling this guy in, right? The son.
Yeah. I see the comments rolling. Filler Vision brought up something which I completely forgot about, but there was I only know about the one because it was announced or something that sort of disappeared. Not sure it's a full movie. Yes, there was a spin-off movie called Jesus Rolls. It was based on the Jesus character. John Turturro wanted to do a sequel, and he asked for permission to do a sequel called Jesus Rolls, and apparently it's terrible.
I kind of feel like I have to watch it now. That character was so like
So
had no on
creepy.
vibe so hard.
What's this day of rest? Shit. What's this bullshit? Oh my god. And what's up with that? There's like a lot of religious references. We have Jesus, and
Right.
then later during the fight, because I feel like whenever you do a movie, everything's on purpose. So when they're fighting at the end in the parking lot, there's a big giant sign in the background that says Ben Hur. And I have no idea what that means. Like, I know it's there for a purpose, but what does it mean?
Huh. Ben-Hur, like a Ben-Hur?
Yeah, Ben Hur, as in Charlton Heston Easter movie Ben Hur. Yes. So I wonder, like, there must be some underlying religious thing because I'm not huge into religion, but there must be something underneath all the
Okay,
things.
I should have looked this up before the movie, but or before we did this, the
Mhm.
term nihilist.
Yeah, they believe in nothing.
The rejection of all religious and moral principles, the belief that life is meaningless.
Right, and dude sort of just goes with the flow, and then Walter has the Judaism. That's right.
Yes. But it's kind of interesting because they always call everybody else nihilist. Like it's a derogatory statement, but then
Yeah.
dude is literally like the emblem of nihilism. Like I'm just like, everything's meaningless. I'm just here for my White Russians and my bowling and my rug.
My fucking whites. Where's your car, dude? You don't know, Walter? Well, you did park in the handicap zone. Perhaps they towed it. You know it's
I
been
kind of
fucking
was really
stolen.
hoping that they towed it.
Oh,
I was like, that would be comedic gold if they go on this big thing and at the end of the movie it's just like, oh, it got towed.
nope, it got stolen and used as a bathroom.
By Larry.
By Larry Sellers. Oh my god. You know, it was so funny. I did research. So in the movie, the TV show Brandon must have lasted longer in this universe because he says the guy wrote 156 episodes of Brandon, bulk of the series. But in actuality, the TV show only lasted 48 episodes.
Oh, this is
So
a
in this
parallel.
so in this universe, Brandon lasted way longer than it should have.
Oh my god. What is Brandon about? The show?
I think it's about like it looks like it takes place during like the Civil War. It looks like a Union officer is like disgraced and then goes on adventures because like the charge was true and they say he ran away. Brandon.
Oh my god.
That's actually the theme song from the movie. I was like, oh my god, that's hilarious. But yeah,
Interesting.
yes. So before we go to the next one,
Yes.
is there anything else you want to tackle on this?
No, I think trying to think. I just feel like the Maud character, I want a little bit more because like she was hysterical. She was so, first of all, I really love like her way of kind of testing the dude of like, well, a lot of men are just afraid of the word vagina. They just don't like vagina. It scares them. Vagina, 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 right? And he's just like, dude, like, what do you mean? What's wrong with the word? But you could see, like, and the funniest part about that is that you can, after realizing she wants to have a baby, you look back and you're like, oh, she was like testing him this whole time. Like, are you a worthy father to my offspring? Like, with the vagina thing, and then like sending him on this mission and all of these different, sending him to the doctor. And I thought her character was, and also ironically, you find out that her character is actually the Big Lebowski because she's actually the
Yes.
one in charge of all the
Yes.
monies, right?
Yes.
So
Mhm.
I just really enjoyed her character. Like
Yeah.
every time she came on, I'm just like, oh my god, this lady. But also, I may be partial because of her haircut. So
Yeah. I know. I was looking at it like you came in character. You have the shirt and the hat. That's my robe. Oh my gosh. But yes, there's so many things in there. Okay, so there's Maud. Yeah, I like Maud. The beaver picture. Oh my god, the story is ludicrous. Oh my god, there's a cameo in that video too. There's an actual adult film star, Asia Carrera or whatever her name isn't actually in that video. So they legit got a cameo for that video
oh
log
my
jamming.
god.
I was like, oh man, that's going like the extra mile for this movie. That was hilarious. I was like, oh my god. And
Dude,
then
what do you think they're gonna do? I think he's gonna fix the cable.
the story's ludicrous. Let me guess, he fixes the cable.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh my god, that's so hilarious. And the my dispatcher called me. Something's wrong with Donna Cable. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to. I think there's like one more thing I want to mention. One more thing, like Columbo. One more thing, ma'am. Shit, what was it? I think it was just that the movie's very quotable. Me and my friend have quoted it forever. My friend Alan Dennis, he loves this movie, and every so often in the last 10 years, we just text each other like Lebowski quotes,
Yes.
or like new shit has come to light. So good. Oh, and one more trivia before we leave from this too.
Yes.
Apparently, whenever Jeff Bridges was about to film a scene, he would go to the directors and say, "Hey, did the dude burn one on the way over?" And they're like, "Yeah, I think so." So he would really rub his eyes to make sure they were red before the scene, so it looked like he burned one on the way over. Because
love that. I was like, this man smokes a great deal of weed. Respect. I don't know how he functions.
It looks like Luke says the Walter character parallels the character of Ben-Hur a bit. I think so, because if anything, I remember Ben-Hur was like a rich dude, and then he gets put on a slave ship, and then works his way back up, which is kind of true, because I think he does convert religion, right, Ben-Hur? Mm-hmm. So maybe that is Walter. Could be. Yeah. Could be.
Oh, could be. One last point we haven't talked about.
Yes.
The guy with the mustache.
The tumbleweed guy, right?
Yeah, the tumbleweed. Yeah. Yep. What? Just what?
I like your style there, dude. Yeah, Sam Elliott from the movie The Incredible Hulk 2003.
Oh, really? That's wow. Okay.
Yes. You didn't know he was in a Hulk movie? He played Thunderbolt Ross. Yes.
I know. I'm terrible.
It's not connected to the MCU. It's the 2003 movie.
Got it.
Yeah. Luke loves the Hulk movie from 2003.
Is that the one with what's his name?
Eric Bana?
The guy from 13 Going on 30?
No, that's Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo, yeah.
That's later on. No, the Eric Bana is in the 2003 one. Okay. Not connected to the MCU.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was, that was my last like mustache man. That mustache is incredible.
Yes, Sam Elliott. Yeah. Oh, so talk about his character. So I guess he represents the tumbleweed tumbling through life, and he gets there.
That's basically the dude. He's tumbling through life. Yeah.
And that's what I was kind of thinking too during my second watch, because at first I thought maybe the tumbleweed was the cowboy, but then during the second watch I'm like, oh wait, the tumbleweed is like the dude, where he just goes wherever the wind takes him, and wherever he goes, he's meant to be. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, he was enjoyable. I like that he kind of bookended the story and had literally nothing to do with it. Anything about like we're not in the South. It's not a Western movie. It's like we're in LA. Here's this man with a giant cowboy hat and a big old mustache drinking sarsaparilla.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is a really good drink. I approve of the drink choice, but
Sioux City sarsaparilla. Okay. So that wraps up our Big Lebowski talk. Would you recommend it to everybody? Did you like it?
I
liked it.
10 out of 10 to 11 out of 10. I'm going to tell all my friends to watch this movie so we can start quoting it, and I will start quoting it, so they better get on board.
Yes, because your friends did not die in the muck in Vietnam for not to quote it.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Okay then.
Hey,
Oh yeah,
not
that was another trivia thing. So there's a line where Jeff Bridges says, "Oh, not Jeff Bridges." John Goodman says, "Okay then." That is a line that is used in a lot of Coen Brother movies, and I love when it pops up in the movies because he goes,
Ooh.
"Okay then," because I know they say that a lot in Raising Arizona and Oh Brother Where Art Thou. Have you seen Oh Brother Where Art Thou?
Okay, I remember the DVD case to it. It's in my grip. I had that movie growing up, and I
I
the one with the chain gang, right?
yes,
Okay, I know I've seen parts of it, but I was far too
yes.
young to appreciate or remember it.
Yes, you should give that another spin because it's sort of similar to this.
Okay,
I would feel like I think they're closer than any other Coen Brothers movies. I think it's Oh Brother Where Art Thou and this are
okay.
like
So
on the same
Rising
page.
Arizona and Oh Brother Where Art Thou. I'm
Mhm.
starting a list because
Yes,
I need one. Okay,
yes,
adding to the
yes,
list.
yes. Okay, so we go to my pick, which is The Fugitive.
Much different genre.
Much different genre. And the reason why I picked mine, because you had a story for yours, the reason why I picked mine is because we're almost into March. And to me, this is essential March viewing because it takes place during a St. Patrick's Day parade. They shot the rodeo or they filmed it during an actual parade that happened in 1992, I believe, because the movie came out in 93. And it is so good. And there's just several movies that are like that with me. Like I have to watch Bambi on the first day of spring. I have to watch Pooh's Grand Adventure on the first day of fall. I have to watch Jaws and Independence Day, 4th of July weekend. And this is definitely a St. Patrick's Day movie. So I wanted to beat the crowd and suggest The Fugitive to fans of the audience who haven't seen it before. But I wanted people to check out The Fugitive because there's a great um, St. Patrick's Day sequence in it. And for those who haven't seen it, The Fugitive is based off, I believe, a 60s TV show, but it's about this guy named John Kimball. Oh, not John Kimball's a way different movie. Oh my God. That's from Kindergarten Cop. Uh, oh, it's
So
Richard
close, so
Kimball.
close.
So close, so close. It's Richard Kimball. Richard Kimball is played by Harrison Ford. He gets framed for killing his wife by a one-armed man, so it sounds completely goofy. And then he goes on the run after this great train crash sequence. And then Tom Lee Jones, with his crew of Avengers of character actors, try to find Richard Kimball as Richard Kimball tries to prove his innocence by going on a little adventure. And I rewatched this. I think it was yesterday. I still love it after all these years. What did you think, Sarah? Did you watch it? When did you watch it?
Okay, I watched it today because I'm a procrastinator. It is my first time seeing it. And I was a writhing ball of anxiety for like 2 hours and 10 minutes of like, oh, is he going to get away with it? Is anybody going to believe this poor man who does so much good? And that cop is a douchebag. And like, oh, I had so many feelings for 2 hours and 10 minutes full of feelings in my body. I have a lot of thoughts. Okay, first of all, it was a really good overall, a
Yes.
good action, suspense, drama,
Thriller. Yep.
murder mystery kind of movie. So give it 10 out of 10 on like the did it make Sarah anxious scale? Yes, it did. Tom Lee Jones, his character drove me insane. I hated that guy. And I love when movies do this where they just make you hate a character so much, but then throughout the movie, like they make the character more human and you see the good side of the character. So by the end of it, yes, exactly. And I'm like, God, the whole time I'm like, fuck this guy. He is like the epitome of douche McDoucher. And then we get to, and then nobody believes poor Richard, this poor guy whose wife dies, and nobody believes him. And he's running all over damn Chicago trying to do the work, which, by the way, they had this whole team of detectives who are all looking for this one fugitive. Not like none of those resources could go to solving a murder. Not one of those resources.
He didn't care. He didn't care. Remember, he's like their goal as their team as U.S. Marshals is just to capture the fugitive. They don't care about the citizens.
It's all they care about.
Yeah.
But then by the end of the movie, he's the only one who believes Richard Kimball, the poor, and then you have those feelings, and you're like, oh, he's so douchey, but he's a human, and he has a decent, redeemable side.
Yes.
Fine. I will tolerate you as you put him in the back of the truck, the car.
That was so sweet at the end. I know. He says, I thought you didn't care. I don't. Don't let anybody
Don't tell
know.
anybody.
Don't tell anybody.
God forbid I ever share your redeeming quality with the world, the one you have.
But I love this movie. As an editor and a person who loves quick movies, there's like I'm astounded because I'll talk about it a little bit later, but I watched US Marshals, the sequel, which is mostly the same crew and director and like creative force, completely different. Like with The Fugitive, I think it was in the first 5-10 minutes, you see the wife get murdered, he's questioned by the police, and then it goes to the court case, and he's sentenced for like or to death. And it's like 5-10 minutes, and it's like, oh man, this movie's going.
Yeah.
It's like there's no time. Like if you had to go to the bathroom and you missed the first 5 minutes, you missed the setup.
You're basically Donnie if you miss the first 5 minutes.
Exactly, because this movie's going, it's running. It starts going because that's what I love about it. It goes with the movie, The Fugitive, where it's like it's on the run. And I think by like 20 minutes in, that train, the train sequence hits the bus, boom, and then the infamous Tommy Lee Jones speech: every farmhouse, hen house, dog house, we're on the run, we got to catch this fugitive. And that's so great when they have to go to the hospital and they think they caught him at that the dam. That was so great. I didn't kill my wife, I don't care. It's so good.
Over the edge.
And I wanted to, I mentioned it a little bit yesterday as I was tweeting it, because I sometimes live tweet on Twitter. And the thing I appreciate about old 90s movies, old 90s movies, is that there was like an ensemble cast. Like the whole crew of the US Marshals is awesome. That to me is so much better than the Avengers, where they all have their own superpower, but like this, every member has a personality and has a job on the team of the US Marshals. Like he tells them what to do and they do it. We have Joe Pantoliano in a terrible wig. And I like the character Newman because he is like the fresh new recruit of the Tom Lee Jones team. And they keep teasing him, like, what are you doing? I'm thinking,
me coffee.
Well, think me a cup of coffee and a chocolate donut.
With sprinkles.
Those sprinkles.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And then Tom Lee Jones, I'm trying to recall, like, what was his career before this? Because I think this rejuvenated his career. Because before this, I think he was known but not huge, and I think this was like his Anthony Hopkins.
He's been in a lot of movies since then. I'm like, oh
yeah, since then,
recognizable. Yeah, but was this like the movie?
I think this might have been the movie that got him up, like boom, skyrocketed. Because I think after this, it was like A Time to Kill, Cobb, Men in Black, Batman Forever. All those big hits were after this, and I think this was what skyrocketed him to like a second career, basically. Because I think before this, he was acting, but not huge.
Right.
Yeah. And what are your thoughts on Harrison Ford in normal day movies? Because I don't know how you know Harrison Ford. How do you know Harrison Ford?
The funny thing is, the way this sounds so stupid. The way I know Harrison Ford is actually very recently. He's in this great series on Apple. I know you're not a TV guy, but I'm going to bring it up. He's on a great series on Apple TV called Shrinking.
Go Jason Segel.
And it's about, with Jason Segel. And it's about a shrink who's going through grief. And Harrison Ford is like the main boss of the office. So I'm like all on. I'm like, I love this guy. I like a dramedy about like grief and loss. That is my jam. So when we're watching it today, I put it on today, and I'm like, and Ari walks in. He got my partner, and he goes, "Is that Harrison Ford?" I'm like, "Oh, that is Harrison Ford from Shrinking." And I'm like, "Wow." And he's like, "Sarah, you know that he was in like Star Wars and all these movies." I'm like,
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, like,
I'm like, oh no, I didn't. I just thought he was in Shrinking. No, but I know the name Harrison Ford, so
yeah.
So that's my way of saying, like, great second impression of Harrison Ford. I was very.
So you've never seen a Harrison Ford movie before this? Like, this is your first?
I hear the name all the time. But I know This is,
This
I
is
know.
blowing my
Frank's
mind.
like, do you want to do a movie show with me? I'm like, yes, I should watch more.
No, but this is good though. This is good because now you can, because okay, so I do like my podcast every weekend, and my audience always brings up Indiana Jones, and like I know those movies, but I don't love them. What I love is human Harrison Ford right here. I love human Harrison Ford because when he's a regular movie, when he's just average Joe man, where it's like The Fugitive, Presumed Innocent. I haven't seen all of it, but I want to see Frantic, Sabrina, Air Force One, a little bit of action, but normal everyday man. And then the movie Age of Adeline. It's like I like those Harrison Ford
I
movies.
might have seen that movie, maybe.
I know. I thought you were going to say Age of Adeline because
I might have seen it.
in the last 10 years, I feel like that's one of his best roles because it was so heartbreaking. Because there's that girl Adeline who doesn't age. So
Right.
there was an actor who plays a young Harrison Ford in that movie. So when he sees her again at his old age, he gets so emotional. And it was like one of the best things I've ever seen Harrison Ford do as an actor when he gets really emotional, seeing his the love of his life still young. And it's just, oh, I love that movie. I love Age of Adeline. Don't tease me, audience. I love Age of Adeline.
I accept you, Frank. I accept you in the Age of Adeline.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
But what I was impressed about, like the whole, I'd say like Harrison Ford said like all of 5 words, like the first 30 to 40 minutes of the movie. I'm like, wow.
You find this man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's famous for that. So whenever you watch a movie with him, just look at when he points. You find this man. You find him. Because he always points. And I love it.
Ooh, love that. So he didn't talk, and I was actually thinking to myself like, wow, like what an easy acting role. He didn't have to learn any lines. And then obviously the movie,
the train sequence.
Yeah, all the train the action shit. But I liked I like those stories where at the beginning, he's smart, like he's a surgeon, right? But you don't think he's that. And the surgeon, the other guy, the bad guy, Nichols.
Yeah.
He's like, he's smarter than I am, right? And like as the movie's coming together, you're like, oh, at first I'm like, I don't know how smart this guy is, like average Joe, right? But then you're realizing he literally is always kind of just barely by 1 millisecond, and Sarah's beating heart at 110 beats per minute, second away from being caught by the cops. But he's always like 1 step ahead of them, or a little half step, right? And so I think it was kind of cool to see the character, like the unveiling of his character throughout the movie, of like who he really is, right?
Yep. And do you know the connection between this and The Big Lebowski? Did you catch it?
Oh shit. Did I catch it? I did not catch it. What is it?
Julianne Moore plays the doctor.
Okay, yes,
with the badge.
She looks so familiar. I said that. I was like, why does she look so familiar? And I meant to look it up today because I was like, who is this from? Oh, and also, what's her name? The one from the really funny one from Glee, and
Jane Lynch.
I was like, whoa, oh, Jane Lynch, like before she's super weird.
Yeah, and this like she's completely iconic as blonde woman who helps Richard Kimball during his
nameless blonde woman.
I love that, and I love the score to this movie. It was like, I was like, yes, this is great. It has a memorable theme. And then, oh man, when I was watching the movie, I was trying to think. Damn, I think the movie is like sort of like famous because it's by the guy who worked with like Steven Seagal movies for a long time, and then he did like The Fugitive. I think. I haven't done any Google research on this, so the audience might correct me at some point, but I think that's who directed this. I think this is the guy who did Above the Law, and I think he did Under Siege, if I'm not mistaken. Right. I better look this up. Sarah. I'm just pulling this.
We will add a fact-checking asterisk to this part of the show.
Pull it up, Jamie. Okay, I'm looking it up. Under Siege director. I think Andrew Davis. Yes, it is. Oh my God. Yes, Andrew Davis. He did Under Siege. And then I want to see, did he do this? Oh, he did not do the sequel. He did not do U.S. Marshals. That's interesting. That makes sense.
I haven't seen the sequel, but obviously you couldn't tell that it was a new director?
Yes. Huge difference. The movie is slow as a snail. So
that is a big difference.
Because like there's like a similar sequence, because in this movie I think it's like 20-30 minutes in when the train crashes. That doesn't happen until 45 minutes until the sequel, And it's just like, come on, let's get the movie going. Let's get the movie going. And it's more movie where there's like you get to see Tommy Lee Jones's boss, and she's like, Tommy Lee Jones, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be doing something else. And he's like, no, I'm doing what I'm doing. I usually do. You hire me to do my job. I do my job. And it's like that. And they're like, you should get on. Yeah. And then you find out the fugitive that they're chasing is like a super international spy. And it's like a spy plot. And it doesn't mesh well with the real life characters of the U.S. Marshals because they're so grounded. If you watch the first Fugitive movie, they're so grounded in like a reality. It's almost like seeing like a I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a Mr. Rogers, and then he goes into like a movie like Armageddon, where it's like that doesn't mix. Like, why does that go? No, and oh god, it starts out slow, but after I think after they find out where Wesley Snipes is going, because Wesley Snipes is the fugitive in the sequel, I think that's like an hour in when the movie starts really picking up how it should be. But like it's so slow. That hour is just so slow. There's some good funny moments. Like there's a scene where Tommy Lee Jones is dressed as like a chicken man because he's standing in the corner like going bark, 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 bark. And then he sees like the fugitives that they're after get into a building, and then he drops the food tray, and then he pulls out the gun from his little chicken suit and takes off his hat. It's great.
It sounds great, but it also feels very ungrounded. Like, would Tommy Jones really wear a chicken suit?
He did. He did. I'm shocked. As straight arrow Tommy Lee Jones is, he did. And then in the movie, there's also young Robert Downey Jr. in his cokehead days where he was like drug addict. So you could tell like he's like focus jerk Robert Downey Jr. I don't like him in that movie. And he's clearly the bad guy. Like there's like a sign on him the minute he comes in. I am a bad guy. I am bad guy. And like whenever someone's trying to do something, he's always trying to tag along because I am bad guy. I am
okay.
Bad guy.
That's a good question. So how long, I don't know, if you can think back to the first time you watched it, how long did it take you to realize who the real bad guy was?
I'm pretty good at that stuff in that guy because like you don't like him right away. It's like, and not only that, but there's like a scene where it's like called Chekhov's gun, where Robert Downey Jr. pulls out this gun that's silver, and everyone teases him on it. And that's going to come in later, which it does, because sadly, the character Newman from The Fugitive, he's becoming like Tommy Lee Jones. So like him and Tommy Lee Jones are like getting along, and it's almost like, oh my god, Newman has finally become like top U.S. Marshal, and then freaking Robert Downey Jr. shoots him. And he shoots him with that silver gun. Yep. God. And when they pull those slugs out, they match the ones that Tom Lee Jones got shot in his vest. So they know that Robert Downey Jr. is the bad guy.
Okay.
But it's like, I know he's bad guy.
Right. But for The Fugitive, how long did it take you to figure out Nicholas?
Fugitive. That one is I didn't know. And I'm trying to remember because like I think The Fugitive, because I've seen it so many times, I don't remember the first time. Like this is like essential single digit Frank watching. Like this is with Hunt for October, The Rock, Armageddon, The Fugitive. Like this was one of those movies where I watched constantly as a kid. Yep.
I did not like. I'm usually pretty decent at figuring out the bad guy early on, and I didn't until probably like maybe when they started to figure out. I was like, like how did I not see that? But also you just don't know enough of the story to know why.
Right.
Right. Which is, like I love that. Like you don't know. I like when crime movies do that, where it's like the audience doesn't have enough information to put it together yet. Because my brain goes real fast. Like if you give me enough information, I'll have it figured out in the first 10 minutes, right? But like I like those twists or those reveals.
But it's sort of slowly revealed because you learn the facts as you go, because you don't learn the facts that he let his friend borrow the car, thus he had the car phone, called Sykes to go there with the one-arm guy to kill the wife and all that. So you don't really know until like you get all the facts. So that's okay. That's fair, because this movie is all him gathering the facts and you learn as you go.
But that's what's interesting, because it's like the movie's really fast, but it's also slow. Like
yes.
The story moves fast, but then, you know, most crime movies you can figure out pretty quickly. And this one, it's like, like things just keep getting revealed.
One of my favorite things about, because you keep talking about how like it's fast, and I say it's fast because it starts running. What I like about this movie, it's almost like a whole season of television squeezed into 2 hours. Yes. And I don't know how they did that. I honestly don't know, because you could almost see like all the episodes. Like
Mm-hmm.
almost every scene would probably be an episode, basically from start to end. That'd probably be a whole episode, but they make it a scene, and the way they write the dialogue, the way they film it, the way they shoot it, the way they block it, it's always moving, it's always going, and there's like great humor mixed in throughout it as well that I
Mm-hmm.
like. Like I like when they're in the dam and they don't know how to get out. And they get to that stairwell, and the stairwell goes
Yes.
down, the stairwell goes up, and they're like, "Oh, we gotta get out of here."
I love that was one of my favorite parts. I'm like, oh, this is hysterical.
That is too real, too real. And I love how, like, when Tommy Lee Jones gets out there, he tells everything, because he's been working the plan probably all the time. He's been walking up the stairs, and then he's like, "Why isn't the water off yet?" Even though he just said it like 20
I know.
seconds ago.
And it's like an entire dam, and it's like this happened like 1 second ago.
It's so good, so good. I love that.
Yes.
And I love throughout the movie they give moments to show that Harrison Ford is a good guy. Like when he saves the little boy in
Yep.
the hospital, you show that he's a good man. And then even later on, I think doesn't he do something where like, oh, he helped somebody out? You know, he did something, but he helped them out.
Well, at the beginning, he pulled the guy out of the train.
That's right. That's right. That's what it was.
Or the bus, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then so there are little, because that's also, there's part of the time where I'm like, well, maybe he did kill his wife, right? I don't have enough information. But then there's those little Easter eggs. You're like, no, it can't be. Like he the way he caressed her face, like
Yeah.
that she was so beautiful. Like why would he kill her, right?
Yeah.
I got really invested in him. Really
That's right, because this is your first time watching, so you're even wondering if he killed his wife.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I was like,
It's been so years, like I've known this movie like all my life, so that's all like that's completely got on my mind. So that's interesting. So when you watched this for the first time, you were unaware, like you were thinking that maybe he did kill his wife, or maybe he's trying to find some other way, or
yeah, because you just don't have it right. You don't know what's happening, right? And like the
Mhm.
flashbacks, you wouldn't think, but then I'm like, oh, but he's wearing a surgeon's glove, like
Mhm.
when he calls the police or whatever. So I'm like, there was like it was a very small nugget, but there was a small nugget of like maybe I'm gonna be really heartbroken by this character and fuck me over, and he's the one who killed the wife, and I gave him all of this empathy for no reason.
For no reason.
For
Okay.
no reason.
Oh my gosh. But I like how let's see, I like all the little things where they try to figure out the crime, where they have the audio from the phone call and they have to block it out. Like, okay, he went to Chicago. That's the
Yes.
L train.
Yes.
You tell me what an elevator train sounds like, and tell me
I
the
know.
difference from the train.
And I was just thinking though, it was filmed in 1993, which was actually 1 year before I was born. So I was like, oh, I know.
What? Oh my gosh. You're a
And
baby.
and I'm thinking, I'm like, wow, it's just so amazing how far technology has come, where they have like this big like recorder and they're like,
Yes.
oh, can you pull this out? And I'm just thinking, oh, like today you just put that into like Adobe Premiere and like sparse out the audio, right? Like,
Yes, and like, what's a payphone? What are these payphones all over the
I remember
place?
payphones. I'm not that young.
You're a baby, a child.
No, but I did like the I don't know if you caught this, but he was this, yeah, I think it was from The Fugitive, not the Lebowski,
Yes.
but he was at the payphone and there was like a little sticky note on it, like no more than 5 minutes or something. Like please
I
only
think so.
for
I
5
think it's
minutes.
when he's in the bar. I think.
Yeah, so he's in the bar,
Yes.
and I was just like giggling, thinking of like, oh yeah, like no cell phones, like you're trying to call your girlfriend and you're like sitting there talking for 20 minutes and everybody's probably pissed at you because there's only one phone line to this bar. Like
Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's a nerdy thing I noticed while watching this. So I watch a lot of movies and like a lot of crime movies, and it's always fun to see that the local actors of that area go in movies. Like for example, the guy in this movie, the guy who says, "Yeah, he was convicted," because there's two of them. It's the goofy guy with the glasses who says, "This is the guy who you killed," and then it's the other guy who's like the big jerk with like the nose and like sort of bald, the white hair.
yes.
He's in The Dark Knight.
Is
The
he?
one. Yes, he's the one who Harvey Dent kills in the bar, because he's one of the cops that backstabs Harvey Dent and
Oh
takes money
shit.
from the Joker. Yeah. So he's been a character actor who lives in Chicago, and he
I
shows
love
up in
that.
movies every so often.
That's so fun. There was
Yes.
also the guard in the original sequence where they're on the bus. The guard.
Yes.
What he's been in he was in a
Yes.
sitcom. What sitcom was it?
I'm not sure, but I know him from Office Space. He's the guy who gets so furious and he says, "What the hell's wrong with you people?" He's that guy
Yes,
with
yes.
the glasses. Yeah.
Let's see.
Hang on.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look this up.
Let's see.
Fugitive.
Fugitive. And okay, it's loading. It's loading on my page. Let's see. Corrections officer. Is that him? That could be. I'm gonna click on that. Maybe it's him. If it says Office Space, it's him.
Oh, we could just go to Office Space.
Oh yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, Office Space. That's the genuine movie we already know him from.
Oh, Richard Reel.
Is it Richard Reel?
He was like a disgruntled dad on like a sitcom that I used to watch. I know it. He just has that look, like the angry dad, you know, the kind of drinks a little too much.
Yes. Hang on, where is it? You said Ray? What's his name?
Oh, his name is Richard Riehle, Riehle.
Okay, that's him. Okay. Oh my God, that's right. He's in Free Willy. Oh my God.
Oh, I forgot about that.
He's one of the henchmen. Because there's the guy from fucking Total Recall.
He's in Bridesmaids too. He's Michael also in Bridesmaids.
Michael Ironside. That's right. Okay, yep, Bridesmaids. I haven't seen Bridesmaids. Don't yell at me.
Wait,
don't yell at me.
What? Oh my God. You haven't seen Bridesmaids? That is the best film ever created.
I haven't seen it.
I know what you're watching next month.
I haven't seen it. But yeah, he's from Free Willy. Oh my God, that blows my mind. Because I completely forgot about the character because he doesn't have a mustache in that movie.
I mean, the mustache was pretty. That's another connection to Lebowski. We got the mustache characters here.
Yes, we do. I
remember him from Bridesmaids, but I could have swore he was in some sitcom. Oh well, I'm gonna let it go and then obsessively research later tonight.
No, we're gonna stay on it. We're gonna stay on it now. No, just kidding. Let's see. Providence, City of Angels.
I do really
Grounded
enjoy
for Life.
Grounded. Yes. That is it, and it's what. Yes, and he's like the grandfather, I think, in it. Mm-hmm. I remember coming home from school and going on like ABC Family and like all the sitcom reruns and watching all the things. Yes, Luke, it's happening. It is my favorite movie ever. Like if there's a movie I quote more than any other movie, it's Bridesmaids, and it's time, Frank. Frank, it's time.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Okay, happening. So, oh, that's a quote from the movie. It's happening. It's happening.
Okay, so if that's your favorite movie, I guess then you'd have to watch my favorite movie, right?
What's your favorite movie?
I guess it would be Halloween.
Oh, let's do it. I love this mashups. All right, that's done. We prequel for next month. Bridesmaids and Halloween.
Yes. Oh, speaking of which, we should plug that real quick. We've already planned for the next day that we're going to do this, and let me check my calendar. It's March 12th or 19th, or wasn't it? 19th? Yeah,
one of those days in March.
I think it was the 19th.
Close my calendar so that it wouldn't ding.
I think it's the 19th.
Let's go with the 19th, even if it's not, because we've said it.
We said it several times. 19th, 19th.
It's the 19th. It's happening. We're doing it.
It's happening. It's 19th. Yeah, so it'll be, I guess, Bridesmaids.
And Halloween.
And Halloween.
I think we need to like make it a challenge of the two of us to find a connection between our two movies.
Oh God, there's no connection.
We have to find a connection. It's happening. We got to find it.
There was a loose connection just because of what's her name, Julianne Moore, between these.
Yes, Julianne Moore. That was a connection. But Halloween and Bridesmaids. That's going to be a good one. I'm excited.
Oh my gosh. I think you'll like Halloween. Have you ever seen it?
I feel like a long time ago, I think I saw, when you do sleepovers in like middle school, we'd watch scary movies, or you'd watch Alien, you'd make like the aluminum foil hats. I feel like I saw it at one of those sleepovers, but I don't remember it. So I'm pretty excited to dive into it. Yeah. Though I might be doing that alone because I don't know if my partner wants to watch a scary movie with me.
Yeah, because I could change it up because there's other favorite movies of mine, because I'm thinking about my Letterboxd top 4. Because I know it's Halloween. I'm pretty sure is up there. I think Jurassic Park is obviously, and then the other two on my Letterboxd are Beetlejuice and Ghostbusters. But all
Ooh,
those are too fun. All those are
those
too
are
fun.
fun. Those are
I
fun.
have I have to
I have seen Beetlejuice and Ghostbusters.
Yep, so I have to give you Halloween.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Halloween. It's Jason, right? That's Halloween.
Oh God, now you're already starting
Oh
the wrong
no, I
foot.
already fucked up.
You fucked it up, man. You fucked it up. Her lives were in her hands, man. No, Michael Myers. Michael Myers is the
Right,
character from
got it.
Halloween, and
I
then
knew it was some sort of mask character of some with that kills things. Halloween. Yeah.
a masked character that kills things and such. Oh yes, I should say my friend Luke Decker here. He's laughing at us right now. He does not like Halloween. He doesn't get it. He
So
doesn't
Luke
get
is totally teams bridesmaids next time.
it.
I planned, or I'll save this story for next month.
Ooh, okay. Okay,
Ooh,
so yes, yeah, if he says it's going to be a fun episode. Okay, so is there anything else you want to say about The Fugitive before we head out?
you did have final thoughts and words. Oh, the only thing I had to say is like I can't tell you how deeply relieved I was that he did not go to jail and get executed for this murder. He did not create or convict,
Yeah.
whatever the hell the word is.
Yeah.
So I feel it was the 2 hours and 10 minutes of pure adrenaline and anxiety worth it. I'll go with a yes.
Yes.
Because of
And
the ending. If there was any other ending, I think I would have broke my TV. So that's my final thoughts on that.
oh my God, I should recommend that to you at some point. Because
What?
if you had high anxiety for this movie for 2 hours and 10 minutes, you have to check out Breakdown. You have to check out Breakdown. Breakdown. We'll have to get to that point though. We haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I can only handle like one high anxiety movie a week, so I'm at my quota this week.
This year, once
This
per
year.
year.
Yeah.
Once per year.
How about you? What are your final thoughts on The Fugitive?
Final thoughts on The Fugitive. Just in case I, doesn't get across earlier, but this is one of those movies that I at least have to watch once a year because it's like Halloween or like Bambi. You have to watch it on that holiday, and I feel like I've knocked it out. I've crossed it out. This is like the movie Groundhog Day, where you have to watch it like once a year, check it off. It's because of the St. Patrick's Day sequence that I love.
Love it. It was a good sequence. I did enjoy the St. Patrick's Day parade and the green, whatever the river is.
The green. Why don't they dye blue for the rest of the year?
For the 364 days. Why don't they dye blue?
Oh my God. And that's the part I really like too, because it's even more high anxiety because you don't know he's going to get away because they start shooting at him.
Yes.
And it's like a kill shot. It's like his head's right there. And it's like, bam. And he would have gotten killed.
Totally.
Oh my God. And
good
one more
stuff.
thing before we leave. One more thing.
What is it?
Tommy Lee Jones. I love him in this movie. I love him. I know you didn't like him. You thought he was a meanie head. It's okay.
Not a fan. Not a fan. But he redeemed himself slightly. But the other 2 hours and 9 minutes.
He has a heart of gold.
Tom. You gotta go inward and reflect on yourself and your decisions and behavior. That's all I have to say.
Okay, so that's been today's episode. Hopefully you liked it. Hopefully you enjoy it. Next month on the 19th, you'll see us back here, 6 p.m. on Sunday, and we're going to talk about Halloween and Bridesmaids.
Bridesmaids. Also, I just love, can we just talk about the contrast of like my flower background and like your dark lair? And that is literally
my dark lair.
Bridesmaids versus Halloween.
Oh my God, yes, it does look like that. We look like we're in a freaking Tim Burton movie. Look at you. You're like all nice and white and flowery, and I'm dark in my cave, eating my cold soup. It's supposed to be cold.
With like your big beady eyes.
Oh my Lord. Okay, so it's great been talking to you, Sarah.
And you too, Frank.
Thank you everyone for tuning in.
Thank you.
Give it a rewatch afterwards. Give it a like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you next month.
Bye.
And broadcast.